And we're going to do one more from a good friend of, actually I grew up with Chris. We met each other in junior high school, and he became fast friends, and he kind of became an extended family member of ours, and we're very happy to have Chris Bevard give a speech here for Bill and Jean.
Everyone can see me okay up here. I embarrass easily, and I'm not a very good public speaker, so I'll keep this short. Thank you. So long ago, in the pre-cell phone, pre-computer, pre-internet Stone Ages, there lived an engineer who did some things, and there lived an educator who did some things. Their paths crossed, they did some things together, and now Tony plays banjo and Hillary lectures English. So what does that have to do with me? Well, while the engineer and the educator were doing things, a long skinny baby was adopted by an accountant and his wife. Jump to 1978, Cockeysville Junior High School. A pre-banjo yet still musically inclined Tony finds the skinny baby, now mostly grown to a skinny teen, to be somewhat entertaining. On almost a daily basis, Tony taxes the skinny kid, sitting out his punishment in the hall. Let's call him Chris to protect his identity. They form a friendship where Tony introduces to Chris bands like AC/DC and Steve Miller. Chris returns the favor by instructing Tony on the many different ways one can use the mouth and armpits to make fart noises. And that these techniques are never to be performed simultaneously. Time passes, and as Tony and Chris continue to mix their respective talents on cassette tape, the engineer and the educator wonder what all the crazy noise is coming from Tony's room. Is this Chris a bad influence on Tony? Should they really let him pick his own friends? And why is he so skinny anyway? Time to intervene. So over the years to follow, the engineer and the educator educated the young Chris, showing him what growing up in a well-run house with a properly adjusted family can be like. This was a far cry different from the life Chris was living in his own home. Now the skinny part was easy. Turns out the educator enjoys cooking, and Chris likes eating. Seldom since has Chris turned down an invitation to dinner. He now weighs over twice his introductory weight. The engineer noted a spark in the young eyes of Chris whenever electrical or mechanical engineering concepts were introduced. This engineering bond between Chris and the engineer was one that had only grown stronger over the years, one where Chris does his best to pay back all the years of car repair, construction advice, lawnmower, and go-kart hot rodding, and such that the engineer so selfishly spent his time on. It has often been discussed that the engineer isn't actually Chris's biological father. Or, I'm sorry, is actually Chris's biological father. Perhaps from an errant sowing of the seed back in his prime. Be that true or false, these two individuals have had a profound and positive effect on Chris. They have acted as surrogate parents, grandparents to Chris's offspring, proctors, advisors, and most importantly, friends. For this, he is eternally grateful.